The question comes through the phone again. How are you doing? What's new with you? Most of the time, the answer is already nearby. Work is normal, home is normal, nothing serious has happened. But sometimes the question lands strangely. The person asks, and when you begin to answer, their attention does not stay with the answer. They interrupt, move to something else, or return to the same question later with almost the same rhythm. The words sound like curiosity, the conversation feels more like a familiar script. Someone appears to make room for an answer, then the room does not stay open. So the question becomes hard to place. Are they asking for information? Are they trying to care? Are they repeating the only doorway they have? One way to understand the moment is to ask what job language is doing. How are you doing? What's new with you can be an information request. It can mean, tell me what has changed. What are you carrying? What your life feels like from the inside. It can also be a contact signal. It can mean, I am here, I am checking in, I am keeping the relationship alive. I do not know how to enter more deeply, but I am still reaching toward you. The confusion begins when one person hears the question as an invitation into their inner world, while the other person uses it as a small act of relational maintenance. For some people, being close means being understood. Someone knows you because they understand what you think about, what matters to you, what you're building, and how you make sense of things. For other people, closeness is carried through continuity. They know you because they know whether work is fine, whether the family is okay, and whether ordinary thread is still intact. They may not ask for the structure of your inner life, but they still experience care through repeated contact. That difference can make two people misread each other. The reflective person may feel unseen. You know what I'm doing, but you do not know me. The routine based person may feel that the relationship is already being maintained. They ask, check, repeat the familiar phrases, and from their side, this may already be care. So the tension is not always about whether the relationship matters. It may be about what kind of thing the relationship itself is for the people. One person treats a relationship as a space for explanation. The other treats it as a pattern of contact. This becomes very visible in families. A parent checks upon you again. Whether you're eating, whether work is fine, whether everything is okay in your relationship. For a reflective person, this can feel narrow. For the parent, those practical questions may carry the relationship. From one angle, this looks like a failure of intimacy. From another, it is a different form of intimacy with a lower ceiling for explanation. If you experience closeness through being understood, routine contact can feel like standing beside a closed door. The other person is near you, but they cannot enter the room where your actual life seems to be happening. If someone experiences closeness through routine, reflective inquiry can feel excessive. A question like, why did you do that? May sound like inspection, as if they are being asked to justify a way of life that was never stored inside them as an argument. This is where relational language connects to a person's life model. People do not only hold their view of life in explicit beliefs, they also hold it in routines, roles, repeated actions, and inherited practices. Some people can explain why they do what they do. Others live inside patterns learned long before they were examined. A person may follow a small ritual because it carries memory, respect, belonging, or continuity. When asked why, they may say, that is how we do it. The reflective person may think the conversation has reached a dead end. But the dead end may come from asking a question to a practice that is not mainly held as a reason. If a practice is held as a claim, then why is the right question? The person can explain the reason, the evidence, the purpose, or the principle. But if the practice is held as a lived pattern, the question why may force it into a shape it never had. The practice may be meaningful without being reasoned in the explicit sense. That does not make every practice wise, and it does not protect inherited habits from examination. It only clarifies what kind of thing is being examined. Some behaviors are supported by reasons, others are supported by repetition, loyalty, emotional regulation, or identity. The same applies to relationships. A person may not have a theory of closeness. They simply ask how you are, call at the usual time, and repeat the familiar pattern. Their model is enacted rather than articulated. An articulated model can be spoken, questioned, revised, and compared. And an acted model is performed. It appears in what the person repeats, what they notice, what they avoid, and what they do when the relationship feels unstable. When two people with different models meet, the conversation becomes a translation problem. One person may be trying to share an inner world, while the other may be trying to preserve a bond through familiar contact. Both may leave with the feeling that something did not quite connect. This is why closeness is too broad of a word unless we ask what kind of closeness is being carried. A person can be deeply involved in your life and still not understand your inner world. A person can understand your inner world and still not be part of your daily life. That distinction prevents a common mistake, treating partial access as total failure. If someone cannot meet you in a reflective way, it may be accurate to stop expecting that kind of relationship from them. But that does not mean the relationship is empty. It may belong to a different layer. Understanding another person's relational language does not mean compensating indefinitely. If someone can only sustain a narrow channel, the relationship has to be measured by what that channel can actually carry. You can answer with care, ask a concrete question, and offer a small opening, but you cannot supply both sides of mutual understanding. With one person, the relationship may hold practical trust. With another, family continuity, or real reflective intimacy. Much of the pain comes from asking one layer to do the work of another. The person who asks, "How are you doing? What's new with you?" may not be asking to enter your inner world. They may be touching the thread. And sometimes touching the thread is the main thing that the relationship can do. So the question changes. It is no longer only, why can this person not know me properly? It becomes, what kind of closeness is this person actually offering, and what kind of closeness am I still looking for somewhere else? That leaves the relationship in a more honest place. It asks that the channel be named correctly, without contempt toward routine and without self erasure from the person who needs reflection. Some people explain their world, some people perform it, some people build closeness by opening the mind. Others build it by repeating the bond. And the difficult part is learning when a relationship is failing to understand you, and when it was never built for that kind of understanding in the first place.